Hi, welcome to the video. So today I'm going to cover a drill to help you with your improvisation to blend different ideas together. Because most of the time when we learn an idea, whether it's an arpeggio, a scale, a key, we learn it as one thing. And then when we try and blend them together, sometimes that's not so easy to do, especially when improvising. So we're going to kind of work through blending pentatonic and diatonic scales, scales and arpeggios, parallel scales and key changes, and position shifts. And the drill will apply to any of those, so I'll just demonstrate the drill in these different categories. You could then use the same concept or drill to work any ideas that you have trouble mixing together. So basically, what we're going to do is what you need to get better with anything is repetition. And to get better at something for improvising, you have to be able to do it without thinking. You have to be able to do it while you're playing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with it fairly structured and planned out. Will be a first level, just to make it easy. So for example, if I'm trying to blend in a solo, a pentatonic scale and a diatonic scale, the first step, if I can just do it already, then you can skip this step, obviously. But if I have trouble doing it, I might start off just play the pentatonic scale, maybe go halfway through and then switch to diatonic, then switch to pentatonic, and at any point you can switch back and forth then. So the first step would be have it in your mind preset. I'm going to do this number of strings, then I'm going to switch. The second step would be switching at will on any string. So maybe do one string pentatonic, two strings diatonic, three strings pentatonic, and just mix it up. So that's your first step of kind of improvising it. But if you need to do it structured and plan out when you do a switch at first, that's perfectly fine. The next step, and you want to get through these steps as soon as you can and still feel comfortable. Next step is actually create a separate lick. So the idea throughout all this is we're going to alternate between the two different ideas to get that mixing of the ideas, as much repetition as we can. So now we'll play a distinct lick that's one is in the pentatonic and one is in diatonic. So there's the pentatonic one then. And again, you can do it as simple as complex as you want. There's the diatonic, and again, I'm back in pentatonic and back into diatonic. If you feel comfortable in the one position and no other positions, then start doing that anywhere on the neck. So then it might be playing pentatonic and into diatonic and pentatonic and diatonic and pentatonic. And the last step of the drill would be, I was already kind of doing it a little bit, and not have distinct licks that are pentatonic or diatonic, but I've it blended together. So I play, a few notes maybe in diatonic. So basically I can switch at any point within the same lick, so I can smoothly blend between them, and that'd be the last step. And then of course that's the last step of the drill. And I call these drills because at this point the focus is just get on the mentally and physically able to do it without necessarily worrying too much about how good it sounds. You want it to sound good, of course, but when you're doing the first steps of just playing a scale and switching, it's not going to sound very musical. The last step would be don't worry about the blending, and if you are comfortable enough with that last step, then you just improvise and focus on just sounding good, and you use it when it's appropriate for the song. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just shifting positions. So I was already kind of doing that there, but if I've got two diatonic positions, and all this will be in the key of C major at first until we start doing string key changes. Again, first step you may be playing out the shifts between the different scales, and then you just start again doing it more freely, where I'm just shifting, but I'm focused less like a solo and more of I'm going to play idea here, I'm going to play idea here, back and forth, so I get maximum repetition on it. Because in a solo, I might go half the solo without changing positions, or I might change positions a lot. It depends on the solo, but we really want to focus on getting the repetition so we feel more comfortable. So on the solo, then you feel comfortable at any point on any string, bounce shift between them. Of course, the next step would be when you feel comfortable with two positions, do a different two positions, and then do all three positions, and gradually till you can do the whole neck with improvising without getting lost, without getting stuck mentally or physically. Now, of course, if you hit a position and you're struggling with it, go back through. It's okay, and just review that position. This will tell you if you get lost where you need to practice your scales more so you don't get lost. So next one will be scales and arpeggios. So again, start off with whatever arpeggios you know. It's the more you know, the easier this will be, though, because if you have very few that you know, you're going to have to be in the position of those. So I might play a small piece. I'm not necessarily going to play a 2-3 octave position. So arpeggio and the scale. You can start off just maybe ascending or descending one, and then going into the other. And then as you feel more comfortable, again, you can have it kind of start blending between the two so that there's no pause between them. So I might start off in one arpeggio and immediately go into a scale, or combine maybe just a couple scale notes before hitting our arpeggio. Of course, you could do any of these with chords in the background, but right now I'm not emphasizing that because I really want you to just get the physical and mental ability to switch between them freely, and then you can always say, okay, well, I'm going to do this specific arpeggio, but right now I don't want you thinking too much about, well, I'm only going to use the one that fits over the specific chord. I want you to be able to go from a A minor and then go into a D minor and go into E minor and go into a G major and just freely move between them. Okay. And again, it doesn't matter how long you stay at the original stages of maybe planning out of, I'm just going to go here and then work that. And then you might just do that back and forth until you feel comfortable with it. And you might think about, have to really work on the transition between sweep picking and alternate picking or economy picking on that, and work those out. So it's okay if you sit and just go and get comfortable with a single position. Okay, that's what I'm going to do is kind of two parallel keys or scales. So what I'm going to do is do minor scales with A as a root. So the parallel scale is one that has the same root but a different scale. For example, I could do a natural minor in the key of C major. I could do a Dorian, which would be in the key of G major. I could do a Phrygian, which would be in the key of F major. But if you notice, all of those three have the same minor pentatonic within it, because the notes that change aren't the ones in pentatonic. So you could blend all of those with your pentatonic. They would all fit over A minor chord. So kind of a cool thing to try is, if you're always doing like a Dorian over A minor, try doing that Dorian, sure, but then go into maybe a natural minor, or go into a Phrygian. So in this exercise, it'd be what we've done before. You take and do maybe a Phrygian into a natural minor, into a Dorian, and just get used to shifting between. You might only pick two at first. You don't have to do three to make it simpler. Then key changes is just taking that same thing. I am technically changing keys there, but let's expand it to the whole neck. So then I could be playing, again, the key of A minor, C major, key of F major, which is D minor, and then the key of E minor, which is G major. So I could start off in the A minor, and then I could go into my E minor, and go into my D minor, and then my A minor. And you can just kind of move between the different keys. Now, of course, you could just stick to two keys and go back and forth between them until you feel comfortable. You could, at more advanced stages, go around the entire circle of fifths and play in every key and just do one lick and then switch to the next one around the circle of fifths. And I've got a video on that too, where I demonstrate that. I'll go ahead and link that one in the corner. So again, the idea is focus on what's difficult, take it and isolate it and do it in simple forms first, but then gradually make it more challenging to yourself until you basically get up to a level where you can just improvise more freely with it, and just alternate between the two ideas you want to get comfortable with switching between. Now, this could be done on anything. It could be done on chords to single notes. It could be done on tapping to picked notes. You can pick anything that you're having trouble blending smoothly together. So I'll leave it at that. Please like, subscribe, comment, any of that stuff, so I can get more people to see my videos. The algorithm appreciates any of that stuff, and then it pushes my videos to more people. Thanks for watching.